Hello, this is my final exam for fine arts, so I'll be answering some of these questions. The first one is, what is the difference in art and non-art? I think the difference between them is the intention that is put behind it, because there's so many things that are made for like practical use that aren't intended to have like a viewpoint or like an opinion expressed or like a feeling that you're supposed to get or that is supposed to be evoked from it. And whereas art has that, and it expresses feeling, and it expresses a person's humanity. And even like with architecture, with a lot of the churches, it's supposed to make you feel a certain way. So I think that's the difference between art and non-art, is that art makes you feel a certain way and non-art doesn't. Question 2 is, how is seeing art in person instead of in a book different for me? It's different for me because seeing the art in person, it felt like it had a lot. I felt the weight behind it and the history behind it. And you can also physically see the details a lot more and the effort that is put behind it. So, I mean, whereas you're seeing it in like a book, it's just kind of like a picture then, and you don't really get the full effect, I guess, of it. So yeah. Question 3 is, what do you think about people risking their lives for some of the art that I witnessed? I can understand why, especially during that time when there was no internet and no way to kind of reach out. This was the way to like communicate and see the humanity in others. And I also think it gave them purpose back then, you know what I mean? Like, it gave them stimulation and entertainment and fuel to kind of keep going. Because a lot of the art was hopeful, and it made you think, and it made you, do something. It made you feel, and I think feelings are very precious to humans, so obviously something that is going to make you feel a certain way, they're going to want to protect that. The 4th question is, explain the moments you experienced wonder. So the first kind of moment that I felt that was just entering Rome, and kind of finally going out of that train station and seeing all like the buildings, that like just the common buildings that are in Rome, and that you see in pictures like of Italian cities, and it's like, oh my god, like that's there. Actually that night I woke up at like 2 a.m. that night and was like almost like got like really anxious, because it's like, oh my god, I'm in another country. Like, I can look out and like see all these buildings that are just so different and have so much more weight to them than the buildings in Texas and America does. The second thing that I was kind of in awe of was definitely the Colosseum, because seeing that, I mean, you hear about it and you see pictures of it, and it's just like, it's crazy. I think the places where I felt the most like kind of in awe of were the places that had so much weight and like history to it. I keep saying that, but it's true. But yeah, also seeing people gather around other famous pieces of work. This wasn't necessarily in the trip, but I know I felt this way during that. I just can't think of a good example, but I went to see the Mona Lisa after the school kind of courses were done, and I mean, just with so many people around her and like the painting, it just, you felt the just how famous it was, which was really, really cool. The fifth question is, how do you think this trip and your experience will affect your future self, and why? I can already notice so many like subtle ways that the trip has changed me. Thinking back from like the first and like being scared to like go on the plane, and then just even getting over that was a big kind of change for me, a big experience for me. I also think this trip allowed me to get out of my head and feel more independence from being here, because there's quite literally nobody around you that you really know. I mean, except for the travel group, but it forces you to take responsibility, and that feels good sometimes. In the future, I think I'll be able to kind of digest my situation and surroundings a lot easier in the future, now that I've been to like kind of a totally different place. I think it'll make it a bit easier to kind of like feel like I know what's up, you know? I also think I will notice and take a lot more opportunities due to this trip, because that's exactly what I did whenever I was there. It showed me that getting out of my head is usually for the best, and every time I did take a chance on something, it felt kind of exhilarating and like freeing, and like took an opportunity and kind of seized the moment. It felt really nice, and this trip just highlighted that feeling kind of even more. So, and it makes me feel like I can also actually be myself. I also have to thank my travel roommate and my group for letting me kind of tag along with their adventures and stuff, because they allowed me to kind of get out of my head as well, and just kind of live in the moment. I hope that answers the question. Yeah, I mean, this trip just taught me a lot about kind of taking opportunities and making the most out of them. So, yeah, it was great. I hope everyone gets to have something like that in their lives. But, yeah. Thank you.